sorry, I have got a great comic to review, but this isn't that. This is terrible. I decided to open the video with that disclaimer because this is a very unenjoyable reading experience. This is Stir-Fry Squadron 55 and it is the worst one yet. I think I have done about 6 issues of this series, like a straight run of 6 issues, and only one of them has been any good. And then there is this one, which is easily the worst of all the ones that I have done. One thing I can say about this issue is that on a technical front, it is a lot better because you have got a clear focus. We have got Arvell, her there. She is a member of the Stir-Fry Squadron. She is the main character in this one, and for once you didn't have a billion other plot lines or other team members just dropping in and drawing attention away from a straightforward idea. Unfortunately, this plot is Arvell teams up with a bunch of obscure cowboy and western characters. There is about 8 of them, and I couldn't name one of them or tell you anything about them. And just throwing in some more forgotten about Z-list characters is not what Stir-Fry Squadron was lacking. I hate this story, it is not fun. It is Arvell leading this group of nobodies that only the writer remembers, and she is leading them to stop Indians from attacking NASA. I like Arvell. I think she's one of the more compelling characters on the core Stir-Fry Squadron roster. But Roger Thomas, the writer, he is indulging himself and letting all these cowboy characters have little moments that mean absolutely nothing to someone who has no awareness or interest in them. He hasn't given us any reason to be interested in them. He hasn't set any of them up well. I am not lying when I say I cannot name a single one of them. I think one of them has Liberty in their names. That's it, that's as far as I can go. Like, really, this is bad. This is really bad. I think if you were really into these hard characters, you were probably reading the comics when these guys were originally being published. And the chances of you still buying DC Comics 30, 40, 50 years later, and then also happen to be buying this one book where they show up, you would still be disappointed because it didn't really stand out or day out. If this is the big comeback you have been waiting for all these years, you're getting the equivalent of a character whose actor would be uncredited in the credits of the film. The one character that I do recognise, the only one, is Super Chief. This guy here. I only know him because he's also in a Superman story that I have got. One of the Electric Superman ones. If I remember, he is a baddie who tries to join the Justice League. Or he's like a member of a knockoff Justice League. And then Superman defeats him. His real name is something like Jonathan Standen Bull. I may hate Native American spiritualism being overdone and overused in comics, but I have a lot of patience for their names, and it would be racially insensitive of me to call them slightly amusing. But Arvell fighting Super Chief, I can almost get into that. Have some footing to Alders and that, or I'm familiar with them two characters. We have got this image here, and if you look at this and you can name all these characters, or you think it looks fun, then you are the target audience for this comic. Personally, I believe the target audience of this comic is limited to Roger Thomas and maybe 2 editors at DC Comics. But now we get to the point where I could completely turn around on this comic. We are introduced to our villain. It is Gorilla Brain Man, and he is hands down in my top 5 DC villains of all time. This page here is good. And then here is another pointless character thrown into the mix. This is an odd character who had appeared in like 1 issue before this. He was in one of the early issues of Stir-Fry Squadron. So I hope you remembered him. It's not the Pratt, by the way. It looks like him. It's his costume, but it's a different character called Bicycle Tron. And as much as I like Gorilla Brain Man, other than that 1 page that was introducing him, he is terribly underused here. And then he just fucks off on a rocket straight away, and nobody gets to defeat him. All them Western heroes are just forgotten about now. Allbrand, she is with Bicycle Tron, and this is so that she can explain who Bicycle Tron is to all the readers who maybe didn't buy issue 12 or whatever issue he was in. And we have this bit down here that should be like a really great character piece. It's a chance to have Allbrand do something cool. The rocket is taken off, and she thinks how she has got to use all her strength to try and absorb all the heat and all the flames, and this should be like a big character moment and a chance to see her do something cool. Well, then it's just over and we didn't get to see it. Fucking tosh, the lot of it. Even fan fiction has more satisfying storytelling. Then we have a second story showing us Sandman from the Metallica song. This is him during his superhero phase, like I talked about in the Man Killer review. This is only 6 pages long, but Sandman, he is a member of the Justice Society of Superheroes, and he was one of the 7 or 8 who got kidnapped by the evil Nazis, and he got launched into space. This story shows his side of it and where he ended up. Turns out he ended up on your anus. Stop laughing. And when he was on your anus, there was some nasty gas. Some nasty gas that comes out of your anus. Your anus is home to some nasty gas. And Sandman, he is on your anus, and he is smelling the gas from your anus, and he thinks it stinks and he doesn't like it. And then, when Sandman is on your anus, he's also has to stop a bunch of invasive elements. Like, they're trying to penetrate through the armies. They're like trying to penetrate your anus. They're like about to come to your anus and take over. Well, they're already on your anus. They're like coming on your anus. Stop laughing, you filthy boys. It's not funny. There is a panel of Sandman looking half cool. Not a great comic. Even the second story isn't worth reading. It's just weak. This series is on its deathbed, and it's not going out with grace, and that is why I am going to rate it 7 thumbs up.